Shalom, shalom. I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Rakha Kadash, Lai Walam Yum. I want to give double honor to all the elders and apostles of Yasharallah for teaching me this truth and sincerity. Special shout out to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. I want to give double honor to all the angels that's recording everything we do too as well. This is Brother Kazak coming back at you with another video through the spirit of Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai. Let's get right into it. What's been on my spirit right now is to talk about the Euphrates and the Tigris drying up, which is biblical prophecy, right? Right here you can see several pictures here on how the Euphrates and is drying up and the Tigris is drying up. This is preparation for the World War III, the Armageddon, the Valley of Jehoshaphat. So we're going to pull out some precepts, some scriptures too as well, just to back up the claim that I just brought out, as well as it's going to be a short video after, that will be able to give you some lighting too as well on the things that's happening at this moment in time. How the Lord is preparing these nations for war, over in the Valley of Decision, over in the Euphrates, that's the river that's going to dry up and usher in the Armageddon, and then ultimately usher in Yahushua coming back and fighting these nations over there in that land, right? So let's get right into it. Let's go over to Joel chapter 3. We can start at verse 9. It says, proclaim this among the Gentiles. So if you've been doing your due diligence, that it's two types of Gentiles. You got the natural Gentiles, and then you got our people following the customs of the natural Gentiles. For example, you have so-called Black Native Americans and the Hispanics, who are the Israelites, still following Halloween, or still following Easter and all their different pagan holidays and worshiping their gods. That's what made us a Gentile. But you have the natural Gentiles, which are the strangers or the heathen or the foreigners that is not part of Yasharallah. And this is what this is pertaining to. Joel chapter 3 verse 9, it says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Verse 10, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. So this is the time period that you see right now. You got, weak nations saying that they are strong now because they got nuclear missile fire. They got ICBM missiles. They got a strong military now. Plowshares and pruning hooks, those are farming tools. But the Lord said, beat your plowshares into weapons, right? Beat your plowshares into swords. That's what the Lord is putting upon these smaller nations and upon these other nations outside of Babylon. Outside of this mystery Babylon, which is not a mystery anymore, because if you're following and doing your due diligence, you'll know that America is that whore that sat upon many waters. You'll know that America is the daughter of Babylon, right? So right here, this is the Lord telling the other nations to get prepared for war, man. Come up. Let's get this popping off. That's what the Lord is saying. He's putting a spirit on these nations to combat America, right? To go against America, to destroy America, right? Let the weak say, I am strong. Verse 11, it says, assemble yourselves and come all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about, till the cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Verse 12, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Verse 13, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great, right? Verse 14, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. So this is why the Euphrates is drying up, slowly but surely. This prophecy is going to come to fruition, where all the nations are going to gather together in the valley of decision, or the valley of Jehoshaphat, and they're going to be judged, by the Lord. You understand? They're going to be fighting each other in World War III, and then they're going to turn and fight Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. The nation shall be scared, but they're going to still fight Yahushua and the angels there, So let's continue on through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Let's go over to Revelation chapter 9. If you can start at verse 12, it says, "One woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter." Right. So the first World War passed. This is going into how the World War II and III is coming to fruition. Right. World War II already happened, so the third World War is coming quicker than we ever believed. That's why you see all these nations over in the world, getting prepared for war. You got North Korea, which is really a small nation on the map, but they're proclaiming to be strong because of their allies and their nuclear missile capabilities, right? But the Third World War is what's coming to fruition, and that's why you see the Euphrates drying up, and you're going to see it more clearly through the video that I'm going to show at the end, right? So, verse 13, Revelation 9 and 13, it says, "And the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar which was before God." Verse 14, saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, "Loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates," right? So these four angels are being loosed and they are drying up the Euphrates. Verse 15, "And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year for to slay the third part of men." So who will be the third part of men? That will be the wicked, right? Because you got the first part of men will be the righteous, the children of Israel. You understand? The second part of men will be the children of men, right? And then you got a third part of men, which is the wicked, which is Esau, right? So this is what's going to happen, man. They're going to be destroyed off the face of the damn earth, man. These angels already got a set particular time to destroy and enact judgment like the Lord told them to do, man. So this valley of Jehoshaphat, this valley of decision is coming to fruition because this river is drying up. It's drying up every year. Every year is getting lower and lower and lower, man. And it's our job to measure the time diligently, right? Let's back that up to as well. Revelation chapter 16. Revelation chapter 16. And we can start at verse 12. It says, "And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared," right? So the river is drying up right now. This is talking about in a future tense, like it's already done, right? But we seeing right now in this time period that it's drying up slowly but surely. But this passage just said, the Euphrates, the water thereof was dried up. So this speaking in past tense. So that this is going into what? Future prophecy, man. Verse 13 in Revelation chapter 16, it says, "And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon and out of the mouth of the beast and out of the mouth of the false prophet." That's going into what? America. That's going into, the United Nations and the EU. That's going into, Esau, the Edomite, which is the natural false prophet on this earth, man. The children of the wicked, right? Verse 14, it says, "For they are the spirits of devils," meaning deceivers, "working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of the great day of God Almighty." So these spirits, these three unclean spirits is coming down from the Shemayim to enact these judgments, man. Because the Lord is the one that do wicked. I mean, not wicked, Salaki, but the Lord is the one that does evil and he does good, right? So the Lord is the one that is sending these unclean spirits down to rouse up the nations, to rouse up the men, to tell the nations to beat their plowshares into swords, right? To tell the nations to scream that they are strong when they were once weak. And that dragon and that beast and that false prophet represents what? Like I just brought out, it represents, Rome, which now is America, because the deadly wound was healed, man. It represents, the United Nations, the EU, this whole wicked system, right? The dragon or draconian, I believe the elders went into that on how, it's a way they speak as far as, with the House of Representatives and and the Democratic Party and the Republican Party and things like that. You know, this whole system shall be destroyed, man. You know, verse 15 it says, "Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garment, lest he walk naked, and they see his shame." Right. So the so-called blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics, they need to keep watching, man. You know, they need to keep watching how the Euphrates is drying up. They need to keep watching the prophecies that's coming to fruition. The mark of the beast, which is the RFID chip. That we need to keep watching this, man, because if we don't, we're going to be caught out there unawares. You know, we shall be caught out there naked, you know, and they shall see our shame, meaning we shall be caught out there exposed, man. You know, you don't want to be exposed. You want to, you know, stay within your chambers, which is these law, statutes, commandments, these scriptures, man. You want to stay within your house, right? Stay within your temple, stay within your holy mountain, which is ultimately Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah, man. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 10 lets you know that the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe, roughly paraphrasing. So Revelation 16:16, and it says, "And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon." So that's go that World War III, the Armageddon, right? The end. You understand? When Yahweh Shah fight against these nations, man. When the nations fight against each other first, and then turn and fight against the angels, fight against the chariots, and fight against Yahweh Shah, man. You know, that's Armageddon. Revelation 16:17, "And the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air, and there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne, saying, It is done," right? Verse 18, "And there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth, so mighty an earthquake, and so great," right? So if you read up in the chapter 2 as well, you'll get more information about the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. You'll get more information about the nuclear missile fires coming. And this is what this is going to, man, that great earthquake, right? That nuclear missile fire. This is going to be something that was not seen since man even was on this earth, just like verse 18 says, Revelation 16:18. "And there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth. So mighty an earthquake and so great," right? Verse 19, "And the great city was divided into three parts, and the cities of the nations fell, and great Babylon came in remembrance before God, to give unto her the cup of wine of the fierceness of his wrath," right? So the cup is coming from Yasharallah. It's changing from Yasharallah, from the 12 tribes of Israel, from all these curses and, you know, atrocities that we're going under. Now it's going to turn unto Babylon. You know, and let's get this real quick. Revelation chapter 18, and we can start at verse 1. And we're going to read to 5. We're going to read to 6. Revelation 18, verse 1, it says, "And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory." Verse 2, "And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and caged of every unclean and hateful bird." Verse 3, "For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies." So right now, these nations, you know, are in love with America. These nations are, you know, comfortable with what America is doing, and because they're rich and they made rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Verse 4, and it says, "And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues." Zechariah 14:12 let you know the major plague, the second death that is coming to this earth, man. Those nuclear missile fire, right? ICBM missiles. That's the plague that the Lord don't want his people to partake in. So that's why he said, repent. You know, John chapter 8, verse 32, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free," right? It's going to set you free mentally to turn back to the Father before these plagues bring forth, man. Verse 5, it says, "For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities." Don't that link up with what I was reading over there in Revelation chapter 16? Right? Babylon shall be brought into the remembrance of God. This is what it's talking about, man. You know, verse 6, it says, "Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled filled to her double. So all the atrocities, all the destruction, all of that stuff that Yasharala is going under, all of that stuff that the so-called black Native Americans and Hispanics, the true chosen people, are going under, is going to be rewarded unto Babylon double, right? So let's go back to that 16 and read verse 19 again. Revelation 16 and 19. And the great city was divided into three parts, and the cities of the cities of the nations fell, and great Babylon came in remembrance before God to give unto her the cup of wine of the fierceness of his wrath, right? So that cup that they rewarded unto us, we're going to reward unto them double, and it's all from the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shama. You know, it's all from the Lord's, man, that's able to put us in a position to reward these people double, man, to bring them to the valley of Jehoshaphat, to bring them to the valley of decision, to allow them to fight each other and then turn and fight Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man. You know, verse 20, Revelation 16 and 20, and every island fled away and the mountains were not found, right? Every island will represent a small government, whereas mountains represent a large government. You know, verse 21, and it says, and there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent, and men blasphemed God because of the plague of the hail, for the plague thereof was exceeding great. So what is that plague is talking about, man? It's talking about those ICBM missiles, man. You know, let's get this plague real quick. Zechariah chapter 14, verse 12. And these should be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth, man. This is the plague that's coming, right? These new ICBM nuclear missiles, man. This is the plague that's coming that shall be exceeding great. Linking up with Revelation chapter 16 and verse 21, I believe. And you see how that's linking up, Revelation 16 and 21, and there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent, and men blasphemed God because of the plague of the hail, for the plague thereof was exceeding great, man. You know, so this is what's happening. You know, the Lord is preparing these nations, preparing these people to, you know, create the wasted to destroy, preparing these people to come and fight, man. You know, come fight each other in that World War III, and then right at the end of it, right at the brink of it, here come Yahweh Shah with the chariots, man, to enact judgment on all those that fought against Jerusalem, man. You know, all those that fought against Yasharallah, all those that fought against the chariots and against Yahweh Shah, they shall be destroyed, man, with that second death, with that nuclear missile fire. There's so much fire is gonna look like a lake, right? You know, and how do you know? How did he know that it looks like a lake, man? How did the scriptures profess that it looks like a lake? He knew that by being in the chariots and looking down and seeing so much fire, it looks like a lake, right? Let's continue on through the Spirit. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 8. It says, therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. That's talking about those nuclear missile fire, man. That's talking about the ICBM missiles. You know, the Lord made a promise to the people that he will no longer flood the earth, but he never said anything about fire. He never said anything about the baptism with fire, man, the cleansing agent fire. So the Lord said these nations shall burn, you understand, with the fire of his jealousy, man. And that's what's going to happen. You know, that's what's going to happen during the World War III, man. You know, that's what's going to bring about World War III. The scriptures that you know, the past wars was fought with swords and things like that. But this war is going to be fought with fire, man. You know, roughly paraphrasing. You know, let's keep going through the Spirit. Jeremiah chapter 49. Because the video I'm going to bring out it's going to speak about Basra a lot, right? Basra is going to speak about Basra a lot, you know. And the Lord, I'm going to show you a couple precepts on what the Lord said about Basra. Jeremiah 49, and we can start at verse 12 and read to 14. It says, For thus saith the Lord, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. So who is that talking about, right? Who is that talking about? That's talking about Yasharallah. We wasn't supposed to drink of that cup if we would have followed the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. We wouldn't have to drink of the cup, right? We wouldn't have to drink of the cup of damnation, because Deuteronomy 28:1 let you know if you would have followed the law, statutes, and commandments, you would be above all these nations, right? So this is what's happening, man. What's that? Job chapter 37, and I believe start at verse 11 and 12. Read the same thing, man. If you follow the law, statutes, and commandments, you will be. We would have been prosperous. But now that we disobeyed our God, we have drunk of this cup. So Jeremiah 49:12 says, "For thus saith the Lord, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it," right? So we were just reading over in what? Revelation chapter 16, and I believe verse 19 let you know that the cup of fury Babylon will be drinking, man. You know, and let's go back over to that real quick, just to read it verbatim. Revelation chapter 16 and verse 19. Salakia, Revelation 16 and 19. "And the great city was divided into three parts, and the cities of the nations fell, and the great Babylon came in remembrance before God, what? To give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath," man. You know, so this is what's happening. These nations is drinking of that cup of the fierceness of Yahweh's wrath, man. Jeremiah chapter 49, once again. Jeremiah chapter 49, starting at verse 12 again, it says, "For thus saith the Lord, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink." So these other nations, you know, they shall surely drink of this cup. Now, we were forced to drink it. We were forced to drink it, and now these other nations think that they're going to go unpunished for doing the shit that they have done to us. This is what this bringing out. They think that they're going to go unpunished, that the Lord have forgotten. Hell no, he have not forgotten, man. 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 verse 6 let you know that what? Let's get it. The Lord don't forget, man. 2 Thessalonians 1 and 6, it says, "Seeing it is a righteous thing with God to recompense tribulation to them that troubled you," man. You know? Verse 7, "And to you who are troubled, rest with us, when the Lord Yahweh shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels." This is going into what? This is going into that valley of decision, that battle of Jehoshaphat, that Armageddon, right? He's going to be revealed to us, right? From heaven with his mighty angels, man. Verse 8, "In flaming fire taking vengeance on them that know not God and that obey not the gospel of our Lord Yahweh Shahamashiach." Verse 9, "Who shall be punished with everlasting destruction from the presence of the Lord and from the glory of his power," right? You know, verse 10, "When he shall come to be glorified in his saints and to be admired in all them that believe, because our testimony among you was believed in that day," man. You know, so this is what it's talking about. The flaming fire of the Lord is coming back to take, Salaki, in flaming fire, he's going to be taking vengeance on them that know not God, right? You know, the Lord Yahweh shall be revealed from heaven, coming back with his mighty angels, man. So this is what that's linking up to. These nations shall surely drink of that fiery vengeance, man. Jeremiah chapter 49, once again. Jeremiah chapter 49, starting at verse 12 one more time. It says, "For thus saith the Lord, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it." Verse 13, "For I have sworn myself, for I have sworn by myself, saith the Lord," right? Said Yahweh. He said, "I have sworn by myself." So the Lord said, listen, I promised myself that this is going to get done, or I sworn myself that this is going to get done. Jeremiah 49 and 13, "For I have sworn by myself, said the Lord, that Basra shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste and a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be a perpetual wastes, man. So you're gonna see in the video on how the Lord is bringing Basra to that waste already. They got constant trash in their rivers, man. They got shit building up. They can't fertilize, not fertilize Salakia, but they can it's a particular word that I'm using. They can't sterilize the water, man. They don't have enough equipment to sterilize the water to make it into drinking water. The ISIS have introduced oil to the water and shit like that. Constant ways that are fulfilling the constant ways that are constantly, damaging the water. This is already prophesied that Euphrates is going to dry up, man. Jeremiah chapter 49 verse 13, it says, "For I have sworn by myself, saith the Lord, that Basra shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be perpetual wastes," man. Why is that going to come to fruition? Because these nations, they live off the Euphrates River, man. They live off the Tigris River. That's where they get their drinking water from and shit like that. So once the Euphrates River dry up, these nations and cities near the Euphrates River that depend on that river shall become a desolation. And it ultimately goes into the valley of decision, the valley of Jehoshaphat, the Armageddon, where all these nations are going to be brought down to where the Euphrates once stood, and they're going to be fighting on that land, man. Verse 14, it says, "And I have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent unto the heathen, saying, Gather ye together, and come against her, and rise up to the battle," man. Come against who? Who is that her is talking about? Come against Babylon, man. Come against America. That's what this is bringing out, man. That ambassador is saying to the heathen to gather together and come against her, man. All these nations gonna have nuclear missiles aimed at America, man. Aimed at Babylon. Babylon shall be the biggest desert on earth. But it's a process to these things, man. It's a process to the prophecies. Everything just don't happen overnight. It's a process that's taking place. The river is drying up. They're issuing the chip, which is the mark of the beast, conveniently right now, but eventually it's going to be mandatory. Ushering in Jacob's trouble, man. We are on the brinks of Jacob's trouble. Everywhere you look in the world, it's sedition among men and people getting took into concentration camps and martial law being declared and shit like that. So we're on the brink of all these prophecies, man, and they're going to come to fruition, So this is what's happening, man. He's telling these nations to come against her, rise up against Babylon in battle, man. Let's get a last precept real quick. Isaiah chapter 34. And we can start at verse 1. It says, "Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it," right? So it's time to open your ears, man. It's time to understand. Verse 2, "For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter." So this is future prophecy that I'm bringing out to you, right? Because it's already speaking in past tense like it already happened. And this is how the prophet's supposed to be thinking. Like the shit is already done. When we reading these prophecies, we're supposed to be in it to the point where it's already done. It already came to fruition. Thinking of it like you put yourself inside of the prophecy, or putting yourself right next to the prophecy, like damn near you wrote it almost, man. You're supposed to be thinking in these prophecies like in a story you got a protagonist and you got an antagonist. You're supposed to be that third point of view. You that third point of view that's actually within that storyline, and this is how we're supposed to be placing ourselves in these prophecies to actually envision it, man. So this is speaking in past tense. So this is a future prophecy that's gonna come to fruition. Isaiah chapter 34 and verse 2 again, it says, "For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter." Verse 3, "Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood, right? Verse 4, and all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their host shall fall down as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as the falling fig from the fig tree, man. What do the word host mean? It means army. So the Lord said all their hosts, all their army shall fall down. What do heavens stand for? Rulerships, governments, right? All their governments shall be rolled together as a scroll. It shall be dissolved with what? The ICBM missiles, man. You know, during that World War III, right? During that Valley of Jehoshaphat, during the Armageddon, during that whole World War III aspect, man. You know, verse 5, it says, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment, right? Upon Idumea, which will be the Edomites, man, that come from Mount Seir. You understand? And then he said, and upon the people of my curse. Who are the people that are cursed right now? The Israelites, man. You know, the Israelites are the ones that's cursed, the ones that don't want to take heed to the law, statutes, and commandments, the ones that don't want to change from their wicked ways. Listen, the Lord said, what? His sword shall come down upon you, man. You know, the fury of these ICBM missiles shall come upon you. The angels, you know, 2/3 of our people shall be destroyed. Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8. You know, verse 6 over in Isaiah 34, it says, the sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of kidneys of rams. For the Lord have a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea, right? So you're going to see in the video that's going to be following up next, is going to be speaking about Basra. You're going to see the different sacrifices and different, you know, destruction that the Lord have on Basra right now at this moment, and you're gonna be able to link it up, because everything links up, man. And you're gonna know that that great slaughter is coming for Idumea, the number one nation that is super prideful, man. You know, I can go over to Isaiah 63 too as well. So, Lucky, let me get that real quick. Isaiah 63, talking about the Lord, man. How you gonna judge? I'm in Jeremiah, Salakia. Isaiah 63, and we can start at verse 1. And we're going to read the verse 4. It says, who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? Why would his garments be dyed, man? You know, because it's going to be blood on it, man, from the slaughter in the Valley of Decision. You know, Basra is over there next to the Euphrates, man, where the Euphrates is drying up. And you're going to see it in the video. Isaiah chapter 63, verse 1. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save, man. Verse 2. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat? Verse 3, I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. Verse 4, for the day of vengeance is mine, for the day of vengeance is in mine heart, meaning in my mind, and the year of my redeemed is come, right? So this is what's going to happen over there in the Valley of Decision, in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, and Yahweh Shaphat, right? In the Valley of in the Valley of Decision, the Lord is gonna have dyed garments from Basra, man, stained with blood, you know, destroying all of these nations' wisdom, all of these nations' gods, man, you know, all of these nations' armies. You understand? This is what shall happen because the Lord is fed up. You know, at that time, he's going to be fed up of what they have done to Yasharallah. He's going to be fed up with the atrocities and the wickedness that's in his land. And I'm going to end with this precept here. Hosea chapter 4, verse 1. It says, hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord have a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. Verse 2, by swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out and blood touches blood. Verse 3, therefore shall the land mourn, and every one that dwelleth therein shall languish with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of heaven. Yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. Man, the Lord have a controversy with the inhabitants of the land. The Lord is beefing with these nations. He's beefing with 2/3 of Yasharallah, man, because there is no truth in this land. There is no knowledge of him in this land, and they constantly swear, they constantly lie, and they constantly kill and steal from God's chosen people. You understand? And with that, hopefully this was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, La'ewalam Yum. Double honors to all the elders and apostles of Grace Millstone for teaching me this truth in sincerity, as well as give thanks to all the men on the highways doing this work diligently, making their calling and their election sure. You understand? Baba Kasha, Yasharwala, wake up. Baba Kasha, Salah Hayam, all called Adawamyam. With that, I say Shalom Wam. Yasharwala, Shalom Wam.